the shadow of Mount Olympus, where gods toyed with mortals and myths became legends, a new predator emerged from the heavens. Known as the Spartan Predator, he was an outcast, banished from his clan for reasons unknown, seeking redemption through the ultimate hunt. A fierce warrior among the Yautja, his armor was adorned with the trophies of worthy kills, the skulls of beasts, warriors, and creatures of unimaginable horror. Yet, he sought something more, a challenge that would either restore his honor or condemn him to eternal shame. His quest for the ultimate prey had brought him to the ancient land of Greece, a place where the boundaries between the mortal and the myth blurred. The predator stalked the beaches of a Greek city, his cloaking device rendering him invisible as he observed the actions of humans with his keen, alien eyes. Below him, soldiers in bronze armor gathered near the docks, their faces grim, their wives and mothers weeping behind them. The women offered prayers to gods, clutching icons in desperate faith. These were not mere soldiers setting out for war. No, these men ventured towards certain death. It was a death they seemed to have accepted, but the Spartan Predator was curious. What kind of hunt could be so final, so assured of doom? The ship cut through the mist, revealing a barren island overgrown with twisted vines and ancient ruins. From the sky, the Spartan Predator scanned the terrain. His visor picked up faint traces of life, though the readings were erratic, as if the island itself was tampered by some unseen force. The soldiers disembarked and made their way up a jagged path, leading to a temple covered in the decay of forgotten centuries. This was no ordinary ruin. Statues, eerily lifelike, lined the temple's courtyard. They were not gods or kings but warriors frozen in terror, their faces contorted in screams, their swords raised in battle but forever stilled. The Predator's vision highlighted the truth these soldiers could not see. These were not sculptures of fallen heroes but men turned to stone. As the soldiers moved forward, some hesitated, their confidence faltering as the weight of their fate became undeniable. Still, they pressed on. The Spartan Predator, moving silently and unseen, followed, drawn deeper into the heart of the island. They reached the entrance of the temple, overgrown with vines but emanating an aura of dread. The stench of death lingered in the air, mixed with a foul magic that set the Predator on edge. His advanced technology could detect the faintest vibrations of movement beneath the ground, the slow and steady pulse of something ancient and alive. The legend of Medusa was whispered among the humans, but the Predator had seen enough to know this was no mere myth. It was something real, something that had the power to challenge even him. As the soldiers ventured deeper into the temple, the Predator stayed close behind, his weapons primed for the inevitable confrontation. One by one, the soldiers faltered. The first man turned a corner and let out a blood-curdling scream. The others rushed to his aid, but found him frozen mid-step, his eyes locked in eternal terror, his body solid as stone. Panic erupted. The soldiers fumbled, trying to keep their shields high and their eyes low, but it was too late. Medusa had begun her hunt. From the shadows, the Spartan Predator watched with a hunter's instinct, his calculating mind analyzing every detail of the temple and its monstrous inhabitant. His mask, a fusion of technology and ancient Yautja craftsmanship, filtered the environment, adjusting the spectral readouts to protect him from the deadly gaze that had claimed so many before him. The air was heavy with an unnatural energy, and the once distant wails of the statues, frozen in terror, seemed to echo around him, a haunting reminder of the fate that awaited any who dared to look upon Medusa. The Predator moved with deadly precision, each step deliberate and silent, closer to the heart of the temple. The air grew colder, thick with the scent of decay and ancient death. As he approached the central chamber, he could feel it, a presence, a power that twisted the very fabric of the world around it. This was not a mere creature born of flesh, but an embodiment of dark myth, of a curse as old as time. The Predator's blood ran cold, not with fear, but with the thrill of the hunt. He had faced many foes, but none like this. From the shadowed corridors, Medusa emerged. Her serpentine hair hissed, each tendril a living snake that writhed and coiled with malevolent life. Her eyes, glowing with a sickly light, radiated an ancient malice, a hatred forged in the betrayal of gods. Her lower body, serpentine and scaled, slithered across the stone floor with a predator's grace. A chilling reminder that she, too, was a hunter, just one of a different kind. The soldiers who had dared enter her domain fell before her like leaves in the wind, helpless to resist her gaze. One by one, their limbs stiffened, their cries of terror caught in their throats as their bodies turned to cold, lifeless stone. Some raised their swords in a final, desperate attempt to strike, but their arms froze mid-swing. The statues that now filled the temple were not monuments of glory, but silent witnesses to Medusa's curse, their faces locked in eternal horror. Yet the predator did not flinch. Hidden in the shadows, his mask shielded him from her petrifying gaze, filtering out the deadly magic that poured from her eyes. His alien vision allowed him to see beyond the superficial terror that paralyzed mortal men. He studied her with a cold, analytical mind, observing the way she moved, the way her body coiled and struck like a viper, the way her eyes narrowed when she sensed movement. He saw the rhythm of her hunt, the moments when she was most vulnerable, and the timing of her strikes. But more than that, he could sense her power, feel it rippling through the very stone of the temple. This was not a mindless beast, but a force of nature, a creature bound by a curse that had given her power beyond the natural order. Medusa was not just an opponent, she was a challenge, one that defied the laws of life and death. The Spartan Predator, born to hunt, knew this was a battle of more than just strength. It was a battle of will, of cunning, and of survival. The Yacha code demanded that he face her head-on, that he prove his worth through direct combat. But even the bravest hunter must calculate his odds. Medusa's curse was unlike anything he had faced before. His plasma caster hummed with energy at his side, ready to unleash a torrent of destruction, but the predator hesitated. Was she truly vulnerable to such weapons? Could mere technology defeat something so steeped in dark magic? At the heart of the temple, the last soldier fell to Medusa's gaze, his body locking into stone before he could even raise his shield. The temple grew eerily silent, save for the soft hissing of Medusa's serpentine hair. She turned, her eyes sweeping the room, searching for the next soul to claim. That's when the Spartan Predator stepped from the shadows, his cloaking device deactivated. Now, it was just him and the creature, two predators facing each other in a temple of death. Medusa's eyes flickered toward him, but her curse could not penetrate his mask, not yet. She hissed, a low, guttural sound, as her snake-like hair raised in agitation. She could sense something different about him, something alien. This was no mortal man. The predator stood still, his towering figure an imposing silhouette in the dim light of the temple. His armor, battle-worn and decorated with trophies, glinted faintly as he prepared for the coming fight. The air between them seemed to still. The predator's fingers flexed around the handle of his plasma caster, but he did not fire. His eyes, hidden behind the mask, studied her carefully. His mind raced with questions. Would looking upon Medusa's head, even through his advanced mask, be enough to turn him to stone? Was his mask a sufficient barrier against her curse? His heart pounded with the thrill of the unknown, the risk that hung over this battle like a dark cloud. One wrong move could seal his fate, could turn him into another lifeless statue in Medusa's collection. And then, there was the matter of the trophy. The Yacha honored the most dangerous of prey by claiming a part of their body. But what part of Medusa would he take? Her head, severed from her cursed body. Or perhaps her eyes, the source of her terrible power. The thought gnawed at him. The prize had to be worth the risk. It had to be worthy of restoring his honor. But would claiming such a prize require him to gaze upon her with his own eyes? Would he dare remove his mask after the kill, risking everything for a moment of triumph? Medusa's eyes locked on him, sensing his hesitation. She slithered forward, her movements slow, almost calculated. She was sizing him up, preparing to strike. The Spartan Predator tensed, his muscles coiled like springs, ready to unleash fury. But still, the doubt lingered. Would he survive this fight at all? Could he stand against an ancient evil that had turned gods and warriors alike into stone? The temple loomed around them, its walls lined with the silent statues of those who had come before him, who had failed. The Predator had faced countless foes, from ferocious xenomorphs to skilled warriors, but never one like this. As he stood poised to strike, the weight of the moment bore down on him. Would he, too, become another lifeless figure in Medusa's lair, or would he emerge victorious, bearing a trophy that would cement his legend? The question lingered in the cold, oppressive silence of the temple. The hunt had begun, but whether it would end in glory or in stone was yet to be seen.